Hey everybody, so I have an NPE case for you today where our client is very sympathetic towards mama and she's just trying to get to the bottom of her biological truth. So welcome back to Client Stories with Amy. Okay, so I'm gonna read. This is what the client told us. I'm coming to you guys today because I don't know who my biological father is. I know that I probably have an idea because my mom has given me a couple of hints, but my mom was young. She had a hard life. She wasn't raised very well. My grandparents were not there for her, so she did not know how to be a mom. She learned and made her mistakes with me and became a great mom to my younger siblings. I have no blame whatsoever towards anything that she has done. She is a great mom. She did the best she could, and I just want to know who my biological father is. I don't care if it's good, the bad, the ugly. I want to know it all, and I'll make my decisions based on that. I appreciate you guys trying to help me. If you get to the answer, great. If you don't, I understand. I just want to try to figure out where I come from. Who do I look like? Do I have any good family out there? Kind family? I don't want to be around anybody who is awful or negative in my life. I'm a good place in myself. I'm in a good place with my family. I just want all the good. If there is no good, I'm happy to know my answers either way. So she's like straight up, I know what it could be out there. Not everything's sunshine and roses. If he's great, awesome, I'll reach out. If he's not so good, at least I have an answer and I know and I can make that decision is basically what she's saying. She was born in Washington State, and one of the things that I'm always curious with whenever I get a case from Washington State, I always look at the ethnicity just because I'm so curious about that area. I see very few Native Americans. I see a whole lot of like Scandinavian, Norwegian descent, and I see a little bit of German. That's usually what I see when I get these cases, and I'm just a curious, nosy person, and I just want to know, is she gonna fit into this checkbox or this checkbox? Like, where's she gonna fit in? And of course, she was in that Scandinavian, Norwegian area of checkbox. So kind of what happened in that area, from what I've done some research on, is these people immigrated into the United States. They kind of were in like Minnesota, Wisconsin type area, and then somewhere around 1890s, 1920s ish, they kind of moved towards Washington State and settled there. So I was just kind of curious about that pattern of migration in the United States, something that I've just kind of been watching and kind of making a mental note of how certain types of groups of people immigrated into the United States and where they ended up and how such a big number ended up in certain spots. So she fit into this little category. Her biological father did, I should say. So get all of the DNA matches sorted following that Dana Leeds method, and was able to identify two distinct groups, which is always a plus for us because that usually means there's no endogamy going on. So it makes it easier on us. We get the first line, and of course, because I've already looked at her ethnicity, I kind of seen those Norwegian, Swedish type lines going on there with her ethnicity. And so when I looked at the DNA matches, the surnames lined up. We had a lot of those SEN surnames, so those surnames that ended in SEN. So it also kind of confirmed where I was going with my way of thinking. I was able to identify both grandparent lines pretty quickly. It was an open and shut case. There were a lot of kids to sort through. So even though it was an open shut, easy peasy case, it still took a lot of time because I had literally 12, 14, 15, 16 kids that I had to put into the tree, find their spouses, and get all of their kids. And there was a bunch of kids for them too. So it was a lot of tree work, and that's what took most of my time. I was able to identify that grandparent line pretty quickly, but it was just a lot of time, a tedious time, going through the tree, getting everything in there, everything's correct, and mapping out those lines so that I could formulate where my client would fit in the best with the DNA matches when I got everything proved. We were able to identify the grandparent lines, like I said. They had 4 sons, so it was literally one of 4 boys. And because our client is on good terms with her mama, and she went to her mama and said, hey, my biological father is one of these 4 men. Do you recognize the name? Immediately, mama says, oh goodness, I do recognize the name. I totally forgot all about him. Yada, yada, yada. Got a little bit of the story from mama, and our client reached out, and he was a good man. He was a very good man. So she was able to reach out, and they are talking. They're working on their bond together, and it's been great watching from the outside. But that's it, guys.